Hi guys, this is Shankar K. In the last class, we discussed about principle of EMEC, electromechanical energy conversion, and some of the devices in EMEC. What are the applications? Some of the applications of EMEC. Devices means motor and generator, main important EMEC devices. So, and one of the important concept, coupling field reaction between electrical and mechanical. So today in this class we will discuss about energy flow diagrams of motor and generator. This is energy flow diagram of a motor. Please observe this diagram. Input is electrical energy. Input is electrical energy, output is mechanical energy for a motor. We already know that. Next, so in between what happening? What is happening between electrical and mechanical energy? So first of all, when we will give the electrical energy to the motor, then that is called gross electrical input. Then immediately there are some losses in electrical system. Those are electrical losses. In the brief description of electrical losses are copper losses and core losses. So in the core losses also there are two types: hysteresis losses, eddy current losses. And copper losses means variable losses. Those are called I-square losses. So these are called electrical losses. But this topic will be discussed in the future classes, further classes. From the gross electrical input, there is some loss. So after that, the resultant energy is called net electrical input. This input will be goes to the coupling field reaction. So in the coupling field, again there are losses. Those are called coupling field losses. After that, the resulting is called gross mechanical output. The resultant of mechanical output is connected to mechanical energy, but again in between them there are some losses in the mechanical energy. Those are called friction losses and windage losses. This concept is also we will discuss in further classes. That is called losses. Concept name is completely losses concept. So the final output is net mechanical output. This output will be goes to the mechanical energy. It means, so when we will give the electrical energy into the motor, then the action will be taken like this. So that gross electrical input is connected to the coupling field reaction. In between there are some losses, electrical losses and coupling field losses, mechanical losses. So after that, the final output will be connected to the mechanical energy, that is called net mechanical output. This is the energy flow diagram of a motor. So likewise, energy flow diagram of a generator. So already I told you many times, the motor and generator quite opposite or vice versa. So in this diagram also, for generator, just we will vice versa, just reverse the diagram. That can be called as generator. So see this diagram. So mechanical energy is the input, electrical energy is the output. This is the mechanical energy, this is the electrical energy. So when we will give the mechanical energy to the generator, then immediately that can be called as gross input, and from this input there are some losses, and again some resultant will be called net input. This input is connected to the coupling field, so there are some losses in coupling field also. Then immediately that is called electrical output. So gross electrical output also connected to the electrical energy, but there are some electrical losses. So after that, net electrical output will be only connected to the electrical energy. So this is a energy flow diagram of a generator. So now we will discuss some important laws or some important definitions for the electromechanical energy conversion. So in that there is a main important law is called laws of magnetism. So this law already we know that we learned in school days and intermediate days. So it will says that like poles repel each other. Main important point in this magnetism law, like poles repel each other, unlike poles attract each other. See this diagram in the right side. So north pole repels each other, North Pole, South Pole attracts each other. This is very important law. Now the formula between this reaction, there is a force between two magnetic poles, right? So this force is directly proportional to the product of the magnetic field strengths. So I wrote a formula here, that is F is equal to m1 m2 by d square, where m1 and m2 are the field strengths of the magnets poles. So there are two magnets here. These two magnets have some magnetic field strengths, so those are m1 and m2. And d means there is a distance between two magnetic poles, so this distance can be called as small d. So now the force between two magnets, so the force between two magnetic poles is directly proportional to the product of their field strengths and inversely proportional to the square of the distance between two poles. So this is the force formula between two magnets. And one more important definition is magnetic field. What do you mean by magnetic field? The area in which a magnetic pole experiences a force. It means, so how much area it will be experiences a magnetic pole, that can be called as magnetic field. So these lines are called magnetic lines. The complete area affecting the lines is called magnetic field. So this is the magnetic field, this is also a magnetic field. So a single pole is experiences a force. So how much area is affecting, that can be called as magnetic field. Now coming to the magnetic flux. Magnetic flux means the amount of magnetic field produced by a magnetic source is called magnetic flux. So this is a field, this is a field. The complete set of magnetic field is called magnetic flux. Complete a magnetic piece has a magnetic field. So total per single pole is called magnetic field. Complete magnetic piece is called a magnetic flux. So that can be indicated by phi. The units of magnetic flux is called Webers. Now magnetic flux density. Density means the magnetic flux per unit area is called magnetic flux density. So there is a magnetic flux, we know that, but this can be calculated by area. So magnetic flux per unit area is called magnetic flux density, so that it can be written like this. Capital B means magnetic flux density indication. Phi by A. Phi is the magnetic flux produced by a magnetic piece. A means area, how much area is affecting the magnetic flux. Then that can be called as magnetic flux density. So here see the diagram in the right side bottom. So there is a rectangular diagram. This rectangular piece is called area, that can be indicated by A. This can be placed at 90 degrees to the magnetic flux. So magnetic flux lines are passing like this. So observe these blue arrows. So perpendicularly placing the area, that is A, capital A, rectangular piece. So now the magnetic flux density can be called as the magnetic flux. How much magnetic flux? Phi. How much area? A, capital A. So magnetic flux per unit area is called magnetic flux density. The units for phi is Webers. Area units are meter square. So this is finally overview of the magnetic flux density. So these are also important to the electromechanical energy conversion concepts. One of the important definition is magnetic effect of electric current. So whenever an electric current flows through a conductor, okay, right? Whenever electric current flows through a conductor, there exists magnetic field around the conductor. So right side top diagram. So this diagram, observe here, brown color diagram is called a conductor, and there is an arrow. This arrow is called current direction. So when a current flows or passes through a conductor, then magnetic field will be exist around the conductor. But in which direction? That direction can be derived or defined by right hand grip rule. So this right hand grip rule says that the magnetic field direction based on the current direction. So now observe top right diagram. So when we fold the fingers and place a conductor between the fingers, then the current direction will be acting like the thumb direction. So see here, the thumb indicates like upwards. So current is also upward direction. Then the remaining four fingers, the remaining other fingers indicates that the magnetic field direction. Those are indicated like anti-clockwise direction. So the magnetic field is rotating like anti-clockwise direction. Please read the definition. Assume that the current carrying conductor is held in the right hand so that the fingers wrap around the conductor and the thumb is stretched. If the thumb is along the direction of current, then wrapped fingers will show the direction of circular magnetic field lines. So this is what I am saying that. So this is a definition. Now coming to the representation of electric current through conductor. So observe here. Okay, observe left diagram. There are two conductors, which one has a current and magnetic field directions. So left diagram. Please observe the left diagram. There is a dot. Wait. So in the left diagram, in this diagram, please observe here. In this diagram, there is a dot in the center. Dot means current passing towards us. And right immediate next diagram is indicated cross. Cross means current passing away from us. So current towards us means dot. Current away from is means cross. Then apply the right hand thumb rule. So in the right hand thumb rule, please place the thumb towards us. It means current direction. Then the remaining other fingers indicates that anti-clockwise direction. So that left diagram anti-clockwise direction lines. In the next immediate diagram, there are cross. There is a cross. Cross means current flows away from us. So please place your right hand thumb away from us. Then the remaining four fingers like clockwise direction. So that we place magnetic field lines in clockwise direction. When these two conductors placed side by side, what happens we will see here. If the magnetic flux lines, first conductor acts like anti-clockwise direction, second conductor acts like clockwise direction, then the magnetic field between two conductors acts like repel each other. If we place both are in anti-clockwise direction, then these two conductors attract each other. If both conductors placed in clockwise direction, then also these two conductors acts as attraction. So when the two conductor magnetic flux directions are same, then those two conductors are attract each other. If the current magnetic field directions repel opposite each other, then those two conductors repel each other. Right? Now, Fleming's left hand rule and right hand rule. Fleming's left hand rule. So this is applicable for motor. Fleming's left hand rule is applicable for motor. Fleming's right hand rule is applicable for generator. If you confused in these two laws, which one is applicable to which machine, then I have a simple solution. So Fleming's left hand rule. In this left hand rule, we have one number of R. Okay, R, smaller. So in a motor, please observe, in a motor there is a single R. So left hand rule is applicable to the motor only. In the right hand rule there are two R's. So in the generator also there are two R's. So this right hand rule is applicable for generator. So from this clue or from this hint you can easily remember these laws. Now I will explain in the left hand rule and right hand rule directions. So Fleming's left hand rule is applicable to the motor. Okay. So motor input is electrical energy, that means current. So first of all, take your left hand. In the left hand, stretch first three fingers, thumb, forefinger and middle finger. Thumb, forefinger and middle finger stretch each other. Place each finger 90 degrees each other. Then in these three fingers, thumb indicates that direction of force. See this diagram clearly. thumb indicates the direction of force, forefinger indicates the magnetic flux direction, middle finger indicates the current direction. So in these three directions, we already know the two directions. Then the third direction will be easily finded. So first of all, electrical energy. So motor has an input of electrical energy. In this current direction, we already know that. The current direction indicated by middle finger. And one more important point, already there are two poles. So two poles attract each other. I mean, magnetic flux lines are passing from north to south pole. So already we know the flux direction, magnetic flux direction from left to right. So this is indicated by forefinger, right? Current direction indicated by middle finger, magnetic flux lines indicated by forefinger. Then the remaining finger means thumb. Thumb indicates the direction of force. So this conductor will move from downwards to upwards. Is it clear? So from this left hand rule, we can easily find the direction of the conductor. Is it upwards or downwards, or is it clockwise or anti-clockwise? Now coming to the right hand rule. In this right hand rule, same middle finger indicates the current direction, point finger indicates the magnetic field direction, thumb indicates the force. So in the next class, we will discuss the Faraday's law of electromagnetic induction principles 1 and 2, and singly excited system also we will discuss in the next class. Thank you very much.